Hello and good afternoon. Special edition of Game Time today. Myself and Michael Gerl, President and CEO of GameTime TV this afternoon. Have you ever thought to yourself, who is Michael Gerl, the voice? How many seasons of hockey, podcasts, and other things around the community have you done? Well, today we're here to find out, as well as some special announcements he's got planned.
Yeah,
Michael.
it is a huge day. I will tell people these announcements were supposed to be made 2 months ago. It has been pushed back 3 times now. They say the fourth time is the charm. And to be honest, we're still not quite functioning. But I have been assured that we will be functioning for some of these announcements. Most of these announcements actually today. So bear with us. There's a few surprises, so you may want to have a pen and a paper handy, since they will only be appearing once, and I'll get into that in just a minute. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about this season. Pretty excited about Daryl Media and Game Time as a company. There are several announcements that I'm going to make shortly, but I am told that people may or may not have questions for me first.
So Michael, what inspired you to become a broadcaster? Roughly how old? And just kind of take us on that journey as a little boy, thinking, of all opportunities, broadcaster is the one that you chose. So how did that come about?
Well, it came about, quite honestly, really something I wanted to do at the early semblance of probably what I can remember as the second grade. Um, Listening to the old IHL Moose games with Kelly Moore, who ironically left CJOB and is now back, and who is actually one of my colleagues, um, indirectly. We know of each other. He helped me with a project or two a number of years ago, and we've kept in touch. So it was really him, and then people like Brian Mons, who did Moose games right after Kelly had left, and Kelly's ironically back in Winnipeg now, doing the Jets pre and post game, and they actually start this weekend with their preseason. Um, Yippee! Um, but no, that's really how it started, and then really took off in earnest 2010. So actually 2009, 2010, it would have been my. Actually, I'll back up a little bit. I was at a volunteer radio station, which still exists today, CTEW 95.9 FM. Hi, guys. It was about 2 years before, so 2008, 2009, where I was supposed to be a panelist on this sports show, and well, let's just say the panelist part didn't last more than a week. Because my second or third week that I was there, something came up with the co-host and they couldn't host the show. So, with no training, I get flown into the host chair, which is a completely different control room. Because for bigger shows with panels, they had a main studio, and then everybody that couldn't fit in the main studio had to go in the auxiliary studio. So, and because all of the newbies were kind of forced to go in the auxiliary studio, I'd never been in the main studio because it was my second or third week doing it. And then the program director comes to me and she says, "Yeah, your co-hosts aren't here yet. It's either you host the show or there's no show at all." Um, so anyway, the two guys I did the show with, who I'm still in touch with today, um, helped me through it. We were on the air 10 minutes late because we were waiting for the actual host to show up. And fair to say, I was never a panelist after that again. Yeah, and then from there, I went to Academy of Broadcasting. Shout out to Bev and the people there. They used to be down at Pull Apart, but shortly after I graduated, they moved to the program to Herzing. So the program that everybody sees at Herzing now, Herzing College is the one that I came to. Very, very good for me. Because of my physical disabilities of cerebral palsy and a hearing impairment, I felt that coming through creative communication was going to be a long process. I had auditioned twice, where you submit the portfolio and it just wasn't going. But that's okay. Life leads you down strange paths. And at the same time, I had begun my student work, if you want to call it that, completely unrelated to Academy of Broadcasting at the Manitoba Women's Junior Hockey League, which is kind of where it all kind of took off. And my job wasn't live broadcast the first couple of years. It was into a voice recorder, getting reps, still doing interviews, still doing features. But I went to pretty much every game that I could while I was going to school. And then ended up doing my practicum there for one reason or another that I'm not going to get into. That's not what this is about. But ended up doing my practicum there, and then the broadcast went live on what we had as Mike FM Winnipeg at the time. Our first broadcast, pretty synonymous. I had to actually remind Kirk of this a couple weeks ago, and it was the 4 overtime game between the Northern Stars and the Western Predators, game 1 of the final. I can't remember the year. Went 4 overtimes, and the puck went in at 12:26 in the morning. The game started at 7:30 at night, and that was when the lead was at 90-minute game, so it really should have been done at 9. We wound up playing until 12:30 in the morning, and Kerry Donaldson got the game-winning goal, and I vividly remember. I vividly remember it because I can't remember if I was so excited that the game was over, or I was just more excited to go home. So, and we had the radio station for a day at that point. I had done the testing the day before. We had no way to get the programming back on the rails because we had planned that the game was going to end somewhere around 9 o'clock, 9:15, not 12:30. So to try to get the system to catch up to where we were at 12:30 was a bit of a challenge after the game. And I remember my operator back in the studio going, "Can this please end sometime in the next few minutes?" And it wound up being 4 overtimes later. First overtime was 10 minutes, but periods 2 and 3 were 20-minute overtimes. And then it was late in the 4th overtime period where Terry Donaldson won it. And listen, we're never going to see a game like that again because the rules were changed after that, which I purely feel was an overreaction to one game. But I don't think we're going to see that display of goaltending in Denver. We saw that night. The shots were in the high 70s for both teams, from what I remember. The score was very low. It was either 2-2 or 3-3. And the fact that the teams were able to be focused for that long.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to remember, they were playing 3 games in 3 days. Because remember, they had to come back to play the next day on the Saturday, which was game 2, but went into overtime. And that's when the Stars won it in the first overtime period. But they were playing 3 games in 3 days because it stretched into the Friday morning. And don't forget, we had a bronze medal game before that. Before that game 1 of the final, so we were on the air already at 5:20, I want to say, and didn't get off till like 12:30, 12:45. So, yeah, Yeah, that's the infamous
That
way it
makes
all.
for a long day, right, Mike? When you're sitting there talking and talking, and the voice that would have not
Well,
been.
listen, it becomes a point of how do you fill so much airtime? And as a young broadcaster, you're kind of flying by the seat of your pants. You know, you're worried about the hockey game. Your voice is getting tired. Uh, I'm not used to calling a game that long, first off. It is the longest game I've ever done to this point. I mean, I had an MJHL game last time I was in the playoffs, which was pre-COVID, but went halfway through triple between the Steelers and the Terriers. But that's the only thing that resonates. That's the only thing that sort of resonates there is, and you think about, iconic, and I hate to pull this to the NHL, but some of the more legendary goals in the Stanley Cup playoffs happen in long overtime periods. So, I mean, just take Game 7 against St. Louis, right? Everybody's talking about the Lowry double overtime winner, which really was triple overtime because nobody was winning. And uh, trust me, it's a lot. As somebody that was at that game, um, it's a lot easier to watch a double overtime game when your team's not involved and your season's not on the line. Um, but no, that's where it really becomes the stuff of legend. And I hate to use that phrasing, but some of the most iconic games that I can remember were playoff games or tournament games. Um,
Before,
and and here we are in 2025. It'll be my 15th season with the MWGHL, my 17th season overall of broadcasting of some kind, starting Sunday.
would you do that the same now that you've had all these years of experience, or would you go back and do it the exact same way you did that?
You can't do that. Things happen for a reason. Um, Without the mistakes, I don't think I would be the broadcaster that I am today. Um, it's okay to make mistakes. Um, Chances are you're the only one that knows you made the mistake. The average person probably doesn't, um, which is a saving grace at points. But no, you need to be very, very careful. One thing I've learned over the years is you never know who's listening. They could know everything about the lead. It could be their first time. So you have to kind of mesh your broadcast with not dumb it down fast, because that would be a little bit harsh. Um, but you know what I mean. Like you have to find a way to keep the new people that are listening to your broadcast and watching your broadcast for the first time, or the ones that tune in 98 times a year, or in this case, the MWGHL, which is going to be 118 times. Oh boy, up from 84. Got a bit of a test run at 92. France match over Frost last year. No, it's good. Last year set the tone for that, but boy, to put these schedules together, even on the lead in TV side, is quite something else.
What do you feel that the proudest moments has been through your broadcast careers, both
Oh,
to today and then?
um, a couple things would come to mind, and Kat, you might have to help me with the date here. It was the National Aboriginal Hockey Championship 3 years ago when it was here in Winnipeg. I think it was 2022. I'd have to stick in my room. I should have looked this up beforehand. But they were in Winnipeg, and we had taken the contract as a company. Our biggest contract to date, maybe.
So
Didn't
so far
have
to
something
today.
at the time. It was
Yeah.
the biggest. I'll leave it at that. And then to be able to do that massive undertaking of what we were able to do in 2 months, what takes most companies 6 months. I think that's what I'm most proud of is being able to do that. What was just probably now a 6 or 7 month job into a really 6 weeks, not even 2 months, because the last 2 weeks were just testing and getting everything ready. Yeah, that was probably the most proud, but it was also the most tired I've ever been. I think I slept 10 or 11 hours, maybe put together that whole week. But I think it really put us on the map, um, giving us the capability to do big events.
Why do you think that was successful for Game Time TV and yourself?
Well, it was successful because it put us on the map. Um, everybody at the team had a role in it. I want to say, whether it was putting graphics together or scoreboard graphics together, or and there's technology that we're going to get into in a second. But had I known it existed, would have made our life a whole lot easier. Um, but this technology was not available yet. Just available very recently. Um, that's just been a while, but it was just after that tournament. And then you fine tune things over the years, and that's sort of the way it goes. Is you learn. Um, I think our company took a very big step to say, hey, we can pull an event of this magnitude off. I think totally we worked with 50 people that whole week. It's really the biggest undertaking that I've ever had. And to be honest, the tournament was starting on a Monday. I was still working on things on Sunday night um, during the opening ceremony. That's how crunched this timeline was. But would I do it again? Absolutely, I would. Um, it's quite interesting how things fall on your lap when they work.
And then what's your goal when you think of, okay, this is where I was, this is where I am? Do you have a kind of a goal of what you want to do in the next couple of years? And I know you have some things that are ongoing, but
Yeah. Can I come back to that question about a half an hour?
if I remember. Let's go here. What inspiring quote or few words were you given looking at following your dreams kind of as a person but also as a broadcaster? Because I feel like a lot of the times with life being so up and down and jobs and careers, do you remember someone specifically saying something to you that kind of impacted who you are and what you are?
Yeah, this person shall remain nameless, but I was told I had no place in the industry. That did it for me. Um, at the time, it was a prominent individual in the media who said I had no place in the business. Period.
And how did that
It
inspire you? Because we know what you've become today. So that must have inspired you in a
well, because basically for my whole life I've been fighting from the bottom up. So why is business any different? I was fighting from the bottom up to live. Never mind to live and be independent. Never mind at work.
yeah. And do you think you've made good of that? Someone told you something very negative, but I feel like you've made something positive out of that.
Yep. Yeah, I did. I did.
Um,
Maybe we should roll into the first couple of
go
announcements
for it.
because
I'm sure.
that might answer some of your later questions.
Go for it.
Um, and you might have some questions off of this from the listeners that we are going to slowly roll through this.
Awesome.
The first one has been kind of common knowledge for about a week, and that is that Game Time and Uscreen TV have launched a brand new streaming platform which will be the home of all things Game Time TV. It launches later today, temporarily at darylmedia.ca. There were some issues with the domain. I am told that those will be resolved in time for the weekend, but for now, please go to darylmedia.ca to watch it. The link is in the Game Time TV and my personal bios on Instagram. We'll get a Facebook post out today. I'm just doing one quick check on it. And the site is now live. Look at that. Okay, so we will. Okay, I will share this later on. Cat, remind me to come back to it. It just went live 25 seconds ago. So this is actually perfect. We took that amount of time to talk. Um, the big thing with this platform, people are asking about the subscriptions. The easiest way for me to explain this is the following. There are a couple of, and you can still see me, right? Yeah. There are two ways that this can go. You can get a Game Time TV subscription, Game Time All Access, which is the same access as everybody's had before. It includes absolutely everything on the platform, that whole thing, including some other programming announcements, which we're going to announce very, very shortly. I might have to change the order. But there is the cost for this year. Year one is going to be $250 Canadian. That gets you access to absolutely everything on the platform. There are monthly options available. They're $25 a month, renewing monthly Canadian. The monthly packages do not include everything. There will be a broader announcement with a chart of who gets what under what package. Right now, the MWJHL is the only lead in the monthly option. I will explain why in just a second with my next announcement. And I'm just going to pull this up because there's actually a couple of announcements coming up. And here's the big one. Daryl Media and True North Sports and Entertainment have announced a streaming package for the rights to 6 tournaments to be distributed and produced by GameTime TV starting on Friday, November 6th with the Jets U13 AA Classic. So the events that are included in this package include the tournaments in November, the Jets U13 AA, the U15 AAA, the U17 AAA, the U15 AA in January, and the female U13 and U15 Clash, which will be in February. So there's 6 different tournaments that will span starting November the 6th. For those on the monthly subscription, you will not have access to those tournaments. The only way to get access is through the All Access Pass. That will be plain and simple. There is a tournament individual pass. Those prices have not been confirmed yet. They are between $40 and $50 per tournament, which includes every game of that event. I hope that made sense. So the MWJHL is the only lead right now that is in the monthly $25 package. It's the Game Time TV Lite package. So it's just a monthly subscription that will renew every month on the day that you buy. The other thing is the $250 premium, $250 all access does automatically include the Winnipeg Jets tournaments in them. So you'll get access to absolutely everything, tournaments included, in that package. So it's a very, very good deal. You're getting about 400 games. It does include the MWJHL playoffs, which have been expanded quite significantly. An announcement on the playoff format will come in January. I am telling people as a heads up right now, it is your best value. You're not going to get it any cheaper than $250. Um, some people that I have told this privately to were astonished at the price hike up from what it was last year. Quite honestly, this is because we are offering a premium viewing experience this year, which also leads to my next announcement, but I do not have a slide for. And that is that GameTime TV now has an Android and an Apple app. These will be released. They're not public just yet. These will be released and be in their respective stores, hopefully in time for next Thursday, in time for next Thursday's season opener. The MWJHL playoffs are included in the monthly pass. The monthly passes do have, so basically, if you've done the math, if you extrapolate 25 over 12, you're saving $50 by doing the all access versus paying the monthly. Plus, you get the tournaments thrown in at no additional cost. So there is a significant savings to doing the all access pass, which does include the Jets tournaments. Sits in them. Now that we can officially announce that, we are in the process of finalizing our broadcast teams for that. So stay tuned. There will be announcements in the near future about what broadcast teams look like for those tournaments. So we are very, very excited about that. Is there any follow-up questions, Kev, that you can think of that I did not cover with that last?
I think you covered most of them. In a nutshell, when passes go on sale, get them. Drive Mike's emails nuts because he gets all the so and so has purchased a pass. The more people that buy, the better. The more nuts it drives Mike. That's
and
welcome to but.
There's a promo code if you're watching today. Game Time 25, $25 off your first year of Game Time. Applies to access passes only. That should have been a slash there. The key to this, the annual subscriptions renew every year on the date that you purchase, auto renew unless you cancel. So that's different. Usually you've had to buy your passes every year and they're good for the year and they expire at the end of the year. Not this time. And you're also going to have access to our next announcement automatically, which is the GameTime TV Podcast Network launch. We are partnering to bring a series of podcasts, one of which has already been announced. Two are in the process of being announced in the next few days. Good People in Hockey podcast is on the GameTime TV Podcast Network in addition to Apple and Spotify. Subscribers will automatically have access to that. If you do not have a GameTime TV subscription, not to worry. These will be in a freebie bundle that you just type in your email address once and you'll have access to that for free whenever new episodes launch. There are going to be 4, maybe 5 podcasts as part of that network over the next couple months, including my show, which is coming back on a weekly basis starting, I think it's going to be in December, once we get around the tournaments, and I have a little bit more time to be able to focus on the project. So that is that. In case you missed the big news, Darrow Media and True North, or the Hockey for All Center, have announced a multi-year partnership for 6 tournaments run by True North Sports and Entertainment to be produced and distributed exclusively on GameTime TV platforms. More information will be forthcoming. The other big announcement here, actually, there's two of them now, but I'm just sort of looking at it. That is that the MWJHL and GameTime TV have announced a reworked broadcast partnership, which has been extended, a multi-year partnership, which has been extended, the details of which will remain confidential, but I can confirm the MWJHL will remain on GameTime TV platforms for many years to come, which is also going to lead into this massive announcement. As part of the new agreement, GameTime TV and Rogers TV have reached an agreement which sees 42 regular season games air live on Rogers TV in Manitoba, Channel 9 or Channel 104, starting next Thursday night with the MWJHL season opener between the Silvertips and the Stars. Now, it is anticipated that Rogers TV will pick up a large portion of the playoff games, details of which will be confirmed once the MWJHL playoffs have been set and finalized. You know how that goes. A lot of this had to be reworked with the MWJHL welcoming their new franchise, the Manitoba Golden Eagles, which you can see play live on the new GameTime TV platform Sunday afternoon. Brian Peterson, Cal Millette will have the call of that game. It is a preseason game between the Polarized and the Manitoba Golden Eagles. And then we throw the real bullets in the den as it's thundering outside my window right now. Quite significantly. Which you can see starting next Thursday. And there is also an agreement as part of the Rogers agreement to have two Jets Elite Tournament games from two tournaments. One round robin game each will also be distributed on Rogers TV, the details of which will be finalized shortly. The last of our announcements, and this is the one probably that I'm more excited about than anything. That is that GameTime TV and Scoreboard have reached a multi-year scoreboard data partnership to enhance the broadcast. What does this mean? New broadcast graphics with a new scoreboard controller. You may have seen us testing them at the rink during the tryouts. They work. They are exciting. The folks at Rogers, I know, really love it. We love it. It makes our lives a little bit easier. Pushes scoreboard data from the actual scoreboard controller in the rink to our broadcast. So we could not be more excited about that. And then more a case of broadcast efficiency rather than firing people who humanly run those graphics who did a great job. But with the TV and the ability to enhance and all the tournaments, it just makes it so much easier to have access to the scoreboards instantaneously, which I think people will be very happy with. Get in, get your passes now. Game Time 25 for $25 off your first year of Game Time TV. It applies to the all access passes only. There is an agreement in place for an X number of tournament games to be thrown into the light package, but it will be less than 4. So maybe one game per day in each tournament will air on the light package. It hasn't quite been finalized yet. If you are on the monthly access, we did not want to shut you out of the tournaments entirely, but we will make a couple of games available for you in that package. Also want to confirm it is Jordan's 411 Sports Show going to be moving to the Game Time TV platform as well. I've been working with Jordan for the last 2 years. No, more than that. More than that. He's going to kill me right now. Last number of years. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, he's a good guy. He'll understand. But he'll be moving over to the Game Time TV platform. as part of our pod network, and then we'll have my podcast plus Good People in Hockey, and I'm working on two more. Mine, and then there's one other one that I'm working on to join our network. More announcements will be shortly. Big thing. All of our podcasts will be available via Apple and Spotify this year, with select games being transmitted into podcast form. One game a week will be thrown on Apple and Spotify as part of the package going forward. And just to make sure, here, yeah, I want to clarify that comment about the scoreboard. Um, the scoreboard, removing our graphic operators. Nobody has lost their jobs. It's just made their jobs easier. There's still a human component to that job, but it allows us to efficiently move resources around when it comes to tournaments. I think I covered everything, did I?
I think pretty much, for the most part, basically, if there's questions, people send him a message. Because, there's always after the fact. You sit there and you're like, why is there a question about this? Ask. If you see us in the rank, ask.
Are you ready for this? Let's give the platform a test drive. Can you see it?
I can.
This is a look at it here. I'm going to scroll down. Oh, yes, I forgot to mention. The all access passes will have replay capability. The monthly ones will have it to an extent, but it's going to be much, much shorter. The timelines will be much shorter. You have access to our playoff library from last year, plus all of the events. And the way this works here is I'm just going to log out as myself. So I didn't intend for this to turn into a presentation, but it might as well have, just so people can see it. So when you log onto the site right now, darylmedia.ca, you'll see it here. The other people can't see it, just yell at me.
Yeah, I can see it, so I'm guessing others can see it. Beautiful pictures of the teams and Martin there with the
Amelia
classic.
Martin. Amelia Martin, second to last time Miss Silvertips won the championship. Game number 3, her goal to give them a 2-1 series lead in game 3. That's where that picture was taken. Thanks to Icewave Media for the photo. So here it is. You'll have your upcoming events. These sliders have not been made yet, so it's all temporary. There's going to be more events loaded today. So here's how you do this. So you're coming into the GameTime platform here. I'm assuming everybody can see this.
Yeah.
So the single game access, which is now going to be $12, by the way, you click on it here. You purchase it. You log in. You make your account. Season passes have access to it already. You just go to the subscribe to watch. Then you select your membership here. I'm assuming you can see that.
Yeah.
Chad, if you have any follow-up questions, you can just ask because I'm going to keep moving here.
Okay.
There will be an opportunity for highlights of games to be thrown around. That will be at a later date where we take our highlight clipper and produce highlights for the events. Short and sweet with that. Have a question coming in about downloads. This is a tricky proposition. Games are not downloadable right now. We are working around this. We literally just spent the last few weeks working on this to get it right. Downloads are going to be available. It is not in the package just yet. It is not in the package just yet. What you have to do is you will have to request the downloads to our support email. So we have a brand new support email that just launched on Monday. It's support at GameTimeTV.ca. We're going to get this on the website as soon as this broadcast is done. I'm just going to close that there now. As soon as this broadcast is done, you'll see the new support email. You will be able to log in, make your account, buy your purchases, all that stuff. There is a description of what is in each package on the description when you click it. This pass holder is entitled to blah, 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 blah. The big thing to remember, the single games are now referred to as bundles. You'll need to buy the bundle to get access to the single games. Replays of the games are included in the bundle. They will not be available until 2 hours after the broadcast is concluded, just because there's transcoding and all that stuff. But they will automatically be thrown into the bundles. The bundles and single game options. The bundles are included in the. So there's basically a single game bundle, and then there's an all access, and then there's a monthly, which is $25 a month. $300 for the year. You can just get it for $250 and get everything, including tournament hockey. Tournament passes will be between $40 and $50, depending on the event. That is yet to be finalized. Will be finalized probably around November the 1st. Clearly, our priority is just to get the leads up and running. The MWJHL and the MWJHL, which starts next week. I do want to reiterate, you can get a $25 discount off of your first year by using the code GameTime25, all capital. You'll have to go into your thing, make your purchase for the $250 limit, and then put it in GameTime25, all capital. You'll see it drop down from $250 to $225. Put in your credit card information, and away you go. All purchasers between now and next Thursday will receive an email when the app is available for Apple and for Android. I just want to prove one thing so that people say, "Oh yeah." What app? Nice. Here is the app. It is on my phone right now, and you can see it right there. We are just having some complications getting it through the Apple Store. It's been submitted. I'm expecting it to go public in the next few days. I cannot guarantee that it will be available in time for Sunday's game. We are working feverishly, literally around the clock, to make that happen. But I cannot guarantee that it will be for Sunday. I am hoping, very much hoping that the Apple app will be ready for Thursday. The Android app is about a week longer of a process. I'm hoping that will be in place. Should be in place. I might lose my job if it's not in place by the time the Jets tournament start on November the 6th. There's just absolute testing mayhem that goes on Android. Google puts a lot of testing requirements in. And then the other thing is, and we're gonna have to do another. We'll have to do another. One of these things with the apps. But you can, and I don't know if you can see this here. Select broadcast as favorites. You can download them to your phone. This is not a download to keep a copy of. It's so that you can download it to watch online offline later on. So if I know I'm going out of town and I want to make it like a Netflix and I want it to work when I don't have internet or data, that's what that function would work for. You can submit playlists. So as games are going on, You can go from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next if you want. We are working on a feature. I don't want to say too much about it yet, but it will allow the user in their account to clip different sequences in play for various reasons. To be honest, I have just gotten my hands on that feature right now, so I do not know too much about it. But there is tagging, so you can watch personal highlights. Um, you can show grandma, grandpa, mom, and dad a great play, a great save that they might have missed, or if there's something you just want to come back to later on, that's great. The other thing is, we will have the ability to um, what it is it's called if you watch the game 10 minutes late, you'll be able to go back and watch it from the beginning. Archives are expected to remain on the platform for 90 days. It might be slightly more, slightly less, but there'll be an email coming out. It's all predicated on our rights holder agreements. There's different lengths for different types of contracts. The other thing you will notice is the full length broadcast will only be available for 14 days, after which on day 15, the other thing is this is going to be interesting here because of the ability to, we have so much more capability. So we're going to have highlights. We are just scratching the surface on what you're getting for 250. We wanted to bring out some of the features very, very slowly. The biggest thing is the full length broadcast, which include the intermissions, will only be available for approximately 14 days. After that, the replays become condensed, where we remove the intermissions and it's just straight gameplay. So your 2 hour, 20-minute broadcast will turn into an hour and a half. Do not panic. That is to save space on our server to hold games as long as possible. After that, we will have each game mitigate to highlights. When we have to take the game off of our platform, highlights of each game will be available in about a 2 to 3 minute video. And we plan to move to another server, which is going to have all of our old games at some point, basically, right from Game Time's infancy till now. I'm just working on that library right now. So there's a lot to unpack in this announcement. I realize it's a lot of information, but it's sort of, you have to do it in the totality of everything, because if you do it in bits and pieces, it doesn't make sense. Um, Obviously, you didn't have a picture. The biggest thing, encourage people. The platform is fully functional, as in you will get the games, you will get the highlights and all that stuff. Please be patient. We are moving things around, so things will move around. Um, that's the biggest thing about this site and this app is there's a search function, so you can search for content that you're looking for. If it is not immediately available on the site, there's even, and to be blunt, I took a training session before this even opened. Hence why we were a little bit late. I was in a training session at 8 o'clock Central Time this morning. Still learning more. And you know what? There's going to be a lot of features that are going to be coming in the next little while. I also want to take this time to publicly address something that has been out there for a while, and you'll have to bear with me for just a moment. I would like to publicly thank the Manitoba Female Hockey League U18. We were informed that we are no longer able to broadcast games. That is okay. We respect the league's wishes. Just want to make it clear that we value the league. We appreciate all that they've done for us. That's just the way business goes. We were unable to provide coverage this year. And that's unfortunate, but we hope to be back in the future. Um, I'm very proud of the way we covered that lead. I do not have any regrets about it. I just wanted to confirm that there will be no MFHL broadcast on GameTime TV this year. Also, with the formation of the Pod Network, this was the end of GameTime Radio temporarily, at least for this year. Um, we are no longer also currently affiliated with any MJHL teams. So the Blues and Freeze, now the Monarchs have gone in different direction with their radio broadcast, which we understand. We will not have any game time radio. There is opportunity for radio broadcasts on this new platform. So it's only temporary, but I would expect game time radio to emerge in some form on the app. So basically, the biggest thing, um, the biggest thing too is the biggest thing is the home of all things game time, whether it's audio, video, game broadcast, will now be this platform, which includes the app. And yes, one of the shows, the hockey show with myself and Rick, under a different name perhaps, coming back Mondays. In fact, I think we go to air in 3 weeks. So it'll be dependent on what the Blue Jays do in the playoffs. If they can get there. But we're starting somewhere around October the 2nd here. I can just check on my phone. It'll be Monday nights. Just give me 1 minute here. They start on NHL season starts on October the 7th, so we'll probably be back on October the 6th.
Is
Probably October.
your
Sorry?
thought is that one is going to be kind of NHL overview based with some extra little tidbits of other things thrown in, right?
Yeah, it's different. And then we're also working on an MWJHL podcast along with my podcast. So those too many podcasts that are launching at once. So we are sort of spacing out how this is going to work. Actually, I am the producer of the Good People in Hockey podcast. So that will be Tatiana Raptor hosting that show. I'm very excited. The show will launch with new episodes Wednesdays, and those will be for free for people that type in an email address or they type in or they have their subscription and they'll just have access to it. Radio style games. I get this question all the time. Yes, it will be capable on the app. I'm just not sure what we're going to do with the old stuff yet because of storage restrictions. So I have an idea for that, but there has to be um, some consolidation. But yeah, no, there will be audio style games, audio style events, I should say, on the app when they come up. Biggest thing when people get the app, and I can't stress this enough. I know it gets annoying, but have your push notifications turned on. There's going to be a notification 15 minutes prior to every event starting, going out onto your phones as part of the new app. Um, so I will try to find different ways to engage the audience. Then, if you have any questions at all, please email support@gametimetv.ca. Please, 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 please bear with us this week, next week, as we get things organized. You will only see the first 2 weeks of the FWJHL coming up on there. That is by design. We are no longer going to put the entire season up at once just to save space and save clutter because it does get very cluttered. I anticipate the playoff games from last year will be on there until December the 1st. And then we have to start freeing up content because we're going to have our other stuff coming on to the platform as well. So there's a lot going on. It's been a busy summer. people have said, you're being very quiet. There's not a lot going on. Well, you drop that sort of interesting little nugget, then that's why we've been busy planning this behind the scenes for quite some time, and I'm excited. I know, Kat, you're excited because I showed you some of the technology a couple weeks ago. Um, Actually, none of this is new to you. I don't think some of this might be new, um, but I think most of it you've already known over the course of time. Again, we are excited to have our broadcast for the Winnipeg Jets tournaments, the Challenge tournaments, and the Elite tournaments. Our broadcast teams are being filled up for that. So, anyway, support at GameTimeTV.ca if you want any information on today's announcements. We're going to roll the announcements out slowly. This is all the announcements sort of compacted into one hour sort of presentation. Um, but there will be announcements rolled out on our Instagram over the course of time. But this is everything sort of all condensed into one sort of formal presentation. Again, if you want to sponsor Game Time TV, support at GameTimeTV.ca is the new place to send all of that information. We do have sponsorship packages available. Um, Again, the Rogers partnership begins next Thursday night. It averages about one game a week prior to the playoffs. And then most of the playoffs um, will be on simultaneously on Rogers TV, which I am very excited about. Um, should we break the other news, Kat?
Go for it.
And that is the fact that you are the MWJHL number 2 broadcaster. You will be handling the E-team games along with Jim. I think all of you are coming back, from what I understand. Um,
Some games you'll have all of us, other games you'll have two. Depends on what our other life schedules, other
yeah,
work life brings. Some days Mike will have one of us. Depends what Mike needs and what we need and where we can fit each other in and
yeah, yeah.
whatnot.
So anyway, the E-team, just want to be clear, not going anywhere despite the MFHL setback. They are going to be actively involved in our MWJHL coverage, including in the playoffs. I don't know if I told you guys, but you guys are going to be helping with the playoffs because there are not many extra playoff games. Format will be announced shortly. Again, be patient. If you have any questions at all, please email support at GameTimeTV.ca. We'll do our best to answer them. There's a lot of information that is not on the site that is going to be on the site. So, again, be patient, please. This is a brand new operation for me. I understand people are excited, people have questions. We will get back to you. We hear your comments. Just bear with us. It's going to take us a bit to iron out with all the new technology and the old technology and how that all meshes together. I believe that covers everything.
Basically, watch the social medias. It'll get out to you. Follow it, those kinds of things. Be patient and get your packages. Those are the top three little tidbits of information. If you take any away from it, get your packages, watch the social medias, and be patient.
Yeah. So, anyway, I will. Do you have any more questions?
I can definitely find one. Always lots of questions for you, Mike.
Two more, and then we'll call this quits.
All right. Um, Strange question, but that's okay. If you could tell people many years from now, so we'll use 50 years from now as a kind of time reference, into the future, what would you want them to know about you, and what would you want your legacy to be?
Um, Boy, I was talking to somebody about this about a week ago or so, maybe more. Um, you said about this thing about legacy makes me uncomfortable. To be honest, I just want to be remembered as somebody that's honest, somebody that tried their best, um, somebody that I don't really know how to answer that.
What
It's
about in the hockey? When you think hockey broadcast world, right? Because there's times when you look back and you're like, oh, that was from a long time ago. For instance, me and Jim were listening to 1986 or something, like very old
yeah,
broadcasts,
yeah,
trying to get a what they did.
yeah. Um, to be honest, I hope I'm a broadcaster that constantly gets better, that constantly gets pushed, that's constantly challenged. And I listen. I put this out on my Instagram. Like doing the podcast network is a brand new venture for me. Um, Vince had to be creative in regards to how you're going to work around the radio, which is a constantly revolving door of changes. The whole media industry actually is a revolving door of change. Um, it's just it's very you have to go with the flow, or you're going to be behind the eight ball. And you know what? Yeah, we lost the MFHL. Yes, we're not in the MJ this year, but I mean, the podcast network, the expansion of the MWJHL to the eight team, these Jets tournaments are going to be very, very good. They in themselves are close to 100 and something games between the six tournaments. But do not mistake the content value. We are not going anywhere. Um, there's a lot of talk about, and one thing I kind of want to put to rest is, oh, this is your third platform in 3 years. True, true. I take responsibility for that. Um, Viewer experience and viewer um, evolution, if you want to call it that, comes to the forefront of all of these decisions, and it's part of just the evolving landscape of media. Um, so again, it's this landscape changes and viewer habits change, and today, make no mistake, we made a massive investment in this platform. um, I'm not shy to hide that. That is fact. But I think this is overall going to serve the viewers the best. And that's the only way I can kind of sell it right now is what you're seeing is a very um, what you're seeing right now is a very scaled down version of what's to come. You have to see it, and this is part of it, is part of, not to get too philosophical, is you have to kind of think about this as, where do you want to be in 1 year? How do you see this evolving in 5 years? How do you see this evolving in 10 years? Truth be told, I don't know the answer to that, but you can make best educated, informed, data driven decisions. But yes, our MWJHL schedule this year is driven on some of it on data, some of it on rest, some of it on necessity. Um, I mean, take our agreement with Rogers TV. Um, that is something we've never done before. People say, "Oh yeah, you're not." Biggest thing, but I always the hardest. People say you're not very accessible. Um, the money is a barrier to some. Um, I would say to that, to get quality, you need to pay for it. Uh, Time is not free anymore. Um, we've done the hockey games at a single rate that are consummate with the going rate in society today. I don't think you can get a coffee for more than $6 at some places. Or sorry, less than $6 in some places. I know when I went to a restaurant, it was 20 $20 just for me to have a meal. Um, That's the way economics in the world work, and that's part of it. Is you're spending $250, or spending $25 a month for us with us, and I appreciate that. That is not anything that's lost on me, and part of that is premier viewing experience, premier options out there that people are gonna enjoy. And so again, it's just the streaming world of the way things are gonna go. And I can assure you today that if the price scares some of you, I do not anticipate a price change in the next couple of years. I realize we've been all over the map with that, and that was some heat that I took, in telling some people about, what was coming. To be honest, we are adding more content than people realize that is coming. Give it a chance here. That's all I'm asking. Is you will be happy with the premium experience that you're gonna get, and if you're not, hey, you're not gonna hurt any of our feelings. It's not for everybody, but I just want to make clear there are kind of, I think you can attest to this without naming names. There are a large portion of people that appreciate what the Game Time product is and the enhancements that we make on a yearly basis to um, to make the product available. And it's accessibility. That's why the Rogers deal was so enticing. Is it gives people an opportunity to watch games who normally wouldn't. That was part of the agreement, which has been in the works since last fall. That's part of accessibility. There's going to be games that are available for free. That hasn't been quite figured out yet, but not every game will be pay as you go here. We're gonna have the option to do stuff for free. The Pod Network, we should charge for that. We're not gonna do that. We have sponsorships that cover that. Making content free in a world where costs go up. We get it. We get it. Budget is tight. Money is tight. That's why we're very cognizant of and very appreciative of the people that do support us. And I'm excited. I'm excited. I was showing some people some of the stuff just as we were talking, and they are very, very, very excited for what the future holds here. And listen, sponsorship, not as expensive as one thinks. We'd have packages that start at $20 a game. $20 a game. That's our cheapest package. And we'll customize anything for you to make it work. I am very excited. We've been around for a while. We've played things, played with technology, played with things, and very happy. And this will enhance the product even more. And appreciative of our partners that stick with us, and can't wait to get it started. I know that's a passionate sort of rant. Um, so just send us a message. We'll work it out. It's not all roses and green grass, but conversations of if you want to sponsor that, if you want to sponsor that, for sure, for sure. Let's have those conversations. Um, and I'm excited. It's a very exciting day. It's a very emotional day, as you can tell. This has been a long time coming. Um, $250 a year, not that much when you're getting 400 games a year. That's just the way it goes. If you're not sure, give us a try on Sunday. Give us a try on Sunday. It's gonna be worth everything eventually to the right people. It's not for everybody. We get that. We get that. But we're gonna make the most of what we have. Um, for me, just a little bit of a backstory, and I don't mean to demean in any way, but it is pretty incredible being the sole owner of something like this. A lot of my colleagues that I talk to, they're 5 and 6 people. Um, they are very, very surprised of what has come out of a very crappy situation at times. So, but that's neither here nor there. We make the best possible opportunity as well. And you know what? It's not just me if it feels this way. It's the entire team. The entire team may have options of what they can do, and they choose to spend their weekends producing games. They don't have to. I'm also very confident in that, and yeah, you know, we are. I'm not trying to turn this into some desperation thing, but like this is a rare peek behind the curtain of what goes on behind closed doors, and there's a lot of discussions and decisions that need to be made that may or may not please everybody. So if you're interested, the new platform, one more time, just as we close things off, www.gamemedia.ca for now. We are going to change our new platform over shortly to the Game Time TV link. It'll just take a few more days. Our next broadcast will be Sunday afternoon when the Manitoba Golden Eagles made their debut against the Polar Ice in a preseason game. Brian Peterson and Cal Millette will have your call at 20 after 3 from the Hockey for All Center in Headingley. If you're absolutely not certain, check us out on Rogers TV. It begins Thursday night. Rogers TV in Manitoba. That includes Thompson, Portage, and the Winnipeg markets. It'll be the Silvertips taking on the Northern Stars. 8:20 puck drop, both on Game Time TV and on Rogers TV. That is it. For Tad Erickson, Michael Gerl saying, enjoy the season. Thank you for your support. Look forward to working with you. Get those passes now. Game Time 25 for $25 off your first year of Game Time TV applies to all access passes only. The big news, one last time and one final time, is that Gerl Media and True North Sports and Entertainment have announced a broadcast partnership for 6 tournaments to be produced and distributed on our platform starting Friday, November 6th. That is it. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any more questions, you can email support@gametimetv.ca or visit gerlmedia.ca to order your passes now. One last time, your promo code GameTime25 for $25 off your first year of annual subscriptions. For Kat Erickson, I'm Michael Gerl saying we will see you on the weekend. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you this season. Bye for now.